that?
Man, I'm so Cleveland, it's a goddamn shame. So east side, I'm a goddamn gang. Said you ain't heard of my goddamn name, but I asked round here, I'm a goddamn king. Man, I put my work in these goddamn
World Series predictions. Cubs, Indians.
Woo!
This is going to be a good one.
It's gonna be a
I
battle.
don't know. I think it's going to be a good one. Maybe not.
I hope it's gonna be a good one.
What are your thoughts? I want to hear your thoughts first.
I just think that it's gonna be both teams on both sides. Like their bullpens, their pitching is just hot and they're good. And the Indians have the same thing. Same thing. They're both. It's such an evenly matched World Series.
Yeah, this first game means a lot. In my opinion, I don't know if. I think if the Cubs win Game 1, it's just pretty clear to me that they're going to win the series. It's tough because the Cubs got the momentum going in this game, but it's in Cleveland. Cleveland hasn't lost at home. They're well rested, but would you rather be well rested or would you rather be
Coming in hot
with the momentum? I don't know. That's the question, and that's what the toughest decision is. Game 1, Lester versus Kluber.
This is true.
What do you got in Game 1?
Game 1, I gotta say I kind of have some X factors here. I'm gonna say Cubs win Game 1 behind Lester. He's just been on fire in the playoffs, but so is Kluber. But I think Lester is just, again, he has the momentum like you said. But if the Indians do get on early, I think they absolutely need to take advantage of the fact that Lester will not pick off. They need to just run on him all day long. We've yet to see a team take advantage of that besides from the bunting aspect, and I think that it just absolutely needs to be done, especially on the biggest stage in baseball, and to win it. And I got to say Cubs, though.
Out of the first 2 games in Cleveland, what do you think? What do you think?
I think the Cubs are going to go back home tied up at 1-1. Reason being, I think Arrieta's been getting kind of teed off lately. As good as he is, he's been getting teed off. And his slider and his cutter have not been what they're supposed to be. And for that reason, I think the Indians have Game 2. So I think that it's going to go back to Wrigley 1-1.
I agree. I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know who's going to win Game 1, win Game 2. But I just think since Cleveland home for 2 games, they have to win 1 game. Like they're pretty darn good at home. So I think 1-1 going into Chicago. But that's 3 straight games in Chicago. And my opinion, I think the Cubs take 2 out of those 3. What about you?
At home, I think that, again, Lackey, too, he seems to be getting – they hit – every team that's versed him, they hit well off him. But then every time he pitches, the Cubs offense just comes to play. So I can see the Cubs taking 2 of 3 there. But I could also see them taking all 3. I don't know. I think it all depends on how these Game 1 and 2 go. But at the end of the day, I got to say, because I think the Cubs would be in trouble if it goes back to Cleveland. I really do. But I think
but
the
if
Cubs,
they go up 3-2, they got to be pretty comfortable.
Right. But I mean, at the end of the day, I got to say 4-2 Cubs. I think that, like we said earlier, the momentum in baseball, unless you're a pitcher, I think you much rather have the momentum going into a series than the Indians have been sitting around. Yeah, they've been. The pitchers, it's good for someone like Bauer who had his finger injury, and it's also good for someone who they just added to the roster like Salazar, who I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with him, whether that is relief or they have him start. I don't know how 100% he is in terms of his forearm, but we will see.
Yeah, it's a tough decision for me. During that Cubs-Dodgers series, the Cubs were down 2-1. I still had the Cubs winning, but it made me a little worried about them going in against the Indians in the World Series. At that point, I was thinking Indians were going to win the World Series, but the way that they came back, and I expected them to come back, but I didn't think it was going to be like that pretty, but it was really pretty.
It was really, yeah. Oh.
Everybody was firing on all cylinders. Everybody was playing, and they just have so much momentum that I'm definitely going with the Cubs. I'm also going to say 4-2. I actually was about to say 4-1 there just because of how much momentum they got going, but then you got to remember the Indians. I mean, they're well rested. That definitely helps the pitchers, and they haven't lost a postseason game at home, so you have to remember that. But I got the Cubs 4-2 as well. I'm really excited for this series. We should pick some MVPs now. I really have no idea who I'm going MVP, but who you got?
MVPs. We're gonna split this up. We're gonna go pitchers. And then we're gonna kind of divide it up between position players. But first pitching. I think that we see another dominant performance by John Lester throughout the series, and that's who I got as my, I guess, pitching MVP.
I'm gonna go with John Lester as well. I want to say Hendricks, but he's not gonna pitch till Game 3, so which he should. That's what we expect him, Game 3, right?
Right.
Yeah. We should expect him to be good, but there's a chance we don't see him again. We definitely could, but for that reason, I'm gonna go with a guy we're for sure gonna see pitch 2 games, or more, and that's Lester, as you said. So who do you got for your hitter?
I guess position player, I got to go with. It's a toss-up. I really want to decide between the two Cubs who were struggling early in the playoffs, both Addison Russell and Anthony Rizzo. We saw struggling big time, but we saw Russell in that last game 3 for 3. We see Rizzo now hitting the ball and hitting it hard, and I think that the Indians have a lot of right-handed pitching, with the exception of Andrew Miller, but for that reason, I got to go with Rizzo. I just think he's really gonna hit well against these righty pitchers.
I'm going a wild card here. It's not really a wild card for like Cubs fans or anybody, but for me, I'm going Chris Bryant because all of us like friends who watch the Cubs, who are Cubs fans, we all know that I'm a curse for Chris Bryant. Every time I sit down and watch every pitch in his at bat, he doesn't look too good. But I know he's a great player. I know he's got it in him. He didn't look great, but he looked good in the last series, and I think he's really gonna do some damage in the World Series. I'm going Chris Bryant.
All right. Well, let's give the Indians a little love. Let's give them a little love. Let's maybe pick someone on their side that's going to stand out to us. I'm gonna go with, I think, Francisco Lindor. I just think that he's one of the best young talents we have in the league, and I think he's just gonna have another good series. But for the Indians, I don't know. I just can't see them all clicking at one time.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, if it was going to be anybody, it'd be Kluber, but he's got to go against Lester twice, so we'll see. That would be my pick, but he could have a rough one as well, so I don't know.
Yeah, they did say that they want him to pitch games 1, 4, and 7, which is crazy if you think about it.
So if it goes the distance, it's got to be him. Even if they lose, like, you got to give him some credit.
Right. Joe Madden actually said on a radio station this morning that Kyle Schwarber will, in fact, DH tonight. He also said that he has one other lineup surprise. Who that'll be?
Weird.
I'm really hoping that means Hayward out, because that would make me a happy man, just because he's been playing so bad. But he's due. He is due.
I would actually disagree with both. You like Schwarber getting in there?
I think
I don't.
it can't hurt.
I think it can hurt. People say, like, okay, it's instead of the pitcher. Yeah, that's great. But you got a couple other guys that have been with the team.
Who?
I think Hayward. I think Hayward should play right field. I think Hayward. I like Hayward in there.
But who do you want in the DH?
He's due.
Who do you want in the DH spot?
Eventually Schwarber, but game one.
Who
is
do you want
he
in the
ready?
DH spot?
I mean, if you're not playing Hayward and right, then it's Hayward. If you're playing, it's Hayward or Soler, I would say.
Against righty pitching, I think Schwarber's is gonna.
It's game one. He just came off his injury. Just came off. I know, what he go, like 0 for 3. I mean, it doesn't really mean much.
He played 2 games. Yeah,
played 2 games. Hit the ball hard, but it's for me, like, from just a sports point of view. Like, it doesn't work out like that. Great player, you got decent players. I know they haven't been playing that good, but they've been with the team the whole way. I know they're going to be they got to be a little upset about it. I know they want to win, but they got to believe that they can do the job, and I think they can. So I think Schwarber eventually down the road here but I don't think game one. That's just my opinion, just from how sports played out in the past. But
what's your prediction on his lineup, quote unquote, surprise?
Lineup surprise.
He says he has one lineup surprise. Now maybe
you also can go another catcher at DH too.
Oh, I can see them. Wilson Contreras is they need him in that lineup. Maybe throw him out in right field. He has been on fire in these playoffs, and I think they need to throw him out in right field.
If he's not in the field, he has to be the DH, I think.
But if Schwarber's officially DH,
you got options. That's my worry about it, because you have options. Like, you agree with that?
I agree.
You got options, and you can't just throw a guy in there now. Which, he's a great player, but he's coming off injury. He's been with the team, but he hasn't been I mean, he was just playing during the other playoff game at a different location. So
Right.
it's like, I think you got to put one of these other options in there. I think down the road he's the best option, but game one, I don't like it. I don't like it, but we'll see.
Woo! Here we go.
I just can't wait for it. Should be a good series. I hope it's a good series, even though, I mean, obviously we're rooting for the Cubs a little bit here from Chicago, but respect the Indians, and I would love to see. I don't want to see a sweep. I know some of my friends want to see a sweep. I want to see a good series. I want to see a good series. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Check out our NFL videos. We got gaming videos. Please check those out as well. And that'll do it. Goodbye.
Cue the music.
Hey, Chicago.